Keeping It Honest with yours truly, Anthony Parker Alexander, as we talk about this Combs case, and we try to get both sides of the story. And it seems like one side is stacked against the other side. Which one's the truth? Okay, talking about the justice system? Well, we're trying to give it to you now.
The impetus was for this major search. And I'm telling you, to have HSI, Homeland Security investigators, roll up in front of Diddy's mansion and break in, they went armed, they went wearing body armor. They immediately subdued and handcuffed everyone in the home, as they should have, while simultaneously across the country, additional locations, venues connected to Sean P. Combs were searched, and searched thoroughly. Take a listen to Sydney Sumner, Crime Online.
Before producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones' explosive lawsuit, 4 more alleged victims filed suit against Combs. The first came from an ex-girlfriend, R&B singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura. Ventura claims, in addition to physical abuse occurring throughout their decade-long on-and-off relationship, Combs coerced her to participate in what he called freak-offs, which involved Ventura having sex with male sex workers while Combs watched and took videos of the encounter. Combs also allegedly broke into Ventura's home and raped her after she broke off their relationship in 2018. 3 other lawsuits followed Ventura's. Joy Dickerson Neal claims Combs drugged her at a 1991 dinner date and later recorded himself her. Liza Gardner's suit alleges that Combs and R&B singer Aaron Hall assaulted her and a friend at Hall's apartment when she was just 16 years old. An anonymous victim details a 2003 gang by Combs and 2 others at his New York studio. Combs settled Ventura's lawsuit just a day after it was filed. The remaining 4 complaints are still unresolved.
Wow. And as you heard me talk about some of the allegations, you also heard her talk about them too. All these allegations. Is he a bad boy? Is he one that, you might be scared of? We haven't finished. We're still going to talk about some of this and some of the allegations that took place years ago and why people are wondering about them now. So if you remember, we used to go with this one. There you go. We know who she is. We know who she is. Some people call her Jenny from the block. Remember her? What's been happening with her now? She hadn't been with him in years, but remember the times when they were together. And boy, they were together. They really look like a good couple. She's known for that dress. I think you guys remember her from there, even though she probably wanted to be here because she was young. So the timeline. Fatal. Let us not forget Fatal, because at one point she was with him. And was any of this going on? That's what I'm curious. They went together for a couple of years, but were any of this going on, this abuse, when she was around? So timeline, J-Lo and Diddy's relationship. So the pair met in 1999 when Diddy, he was known then as Puff Daddy, worked on Lopez's If You Had My Heart music video. Their relationship quickly started after that. In December 1999, the couple were arrested after they fled a New York nightclub where a shooting had taken place. Lopez charges were immediately dropped, but Diddy was charged with bribery and gun possession. He was acquitted at trial. And I think after that, it was kind of iffy as far as those two. 2000, after the shooting incident, the pair appeared to date on and off again. They captured the world's attention in February of 2008 when they walked the Grammys and carpet with Lopez wearing her famous green Versace dress. No matter what, we all remember that dress. They looked like a good couple too. Then, a smooth couple. So that was in 2000. They provided another iconic couples moment in September that year wearing matching all-white ensembles at the MTV Video Music Awards. 2001, the couple announced their split on Valentine's Day 2001. And according to ABC News, Diddy's publicist said Mr. Combs confirmed that he and his love, Jennifer Lopez, have in fact broken up. Mr. Combs is confirming this today as he wanted to put all the rumors surrounding their relationship to rest. At this difficult time, we ask that you respect his privacy. That last sentence, you could use that now too. Later, Lopez told Oprah Winfrey that she had ended the relationship because she knew she'd never have the life that she wanted with the rapper. Is she regretting this? She's with Ben again. She also hinted at infidelity on his part, amid speculation that he still had feelings for his ex, Kim Porter, who died in 2018. And it's also the year that she found love with Ben Affleck. So 2013, Lopez discussed her time with Diddy with Vibe magazine in 2013. I was in this relationship with Puff where I was totally crazy, crying, and going nuts. It really took my whole life in a tailspin, she said. She added, I can't remember right now, but I won't say it didn't happen. I never caught him, but I just knew. He said he was going to a club for a couple hours and then never come back that night. Wow. 2019. She reflected on what she calls the Puffy era in an interview with the Breakfast Club. The Puffy era was just kind of crazy, heightened time in my life. You know, Puffy and I both grew up in Bronx. On their initial attraction, she said, he had been in the music business and had all this success. I was just starting and making my first album when I met him. He became kind of a mentor to me at that moment. We had this kind of crazy, tumultuous relationship that ended in a bang. And she concluded, it was definitely a moment, but I felt like it was necessary. He was meant to be in my life at that moment to teach me what I needed to know about the music business, about what kind of artist I wanted to be in the music business. Wow. So you kind of wonder at one point, did they use each other? She wanted to get known. She wanted to kind of get known in the urban community, Jenny on the Block. And did she get some things out of it that was good? Because as soon as that gun went down, and supposedly she's the one that had it, Combs was one that's never really been touched. And is it time for him to be touched? Is it time for him to just come back home? Is it? Do you know people like that who can be untouched and they get away with a lot of things, and it only takes one thing to where karma gets them back? Do you know people like that?
There you're seeing Sean Puffy Combs on Billboard, and you're seeing him on Rolling Stone. I mean, to Dr. John Delatorre, there he is on Forever. Estimated net worth over $1 billion. Dr. Delatorre, psychologist, mediator, who specializes in forensic psychology. Dr. Delatorre, thank you for being with us. You know, this is what everybody is asking me, okay? And the reason I care what anybody says is because who's going to be on that jury that's going to be seated one day? You can't, wiggle out of a federal indictment if that happens. We asked the defense attorney on. He's like, no way. But I hope he joins us. So, you know, a lot of talk about how he was targeted, how he's not the target, yet his home was targeted, and blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 she says. So while this is already supposedly taking place, and again, I'm going back to certain things so you can think about this. Recently and over the years, he's done a lot of charity. He's done a lot of good things, but can you do good and also be bad? And is this a form of guilt? I don't know. So Combs founded Daddy's House Social Programs, an organization to help inner city youth in 1999. 1995. He also got the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And this Daddy's House, it includes tutoring, which is good, life skill classes, and annual summer camp. Wow. Along with Jay-Z, he pledged $1 million to help support victims of Hurricane Katrina in 2005 and donated clothing from his Sean John line to victims. He has also donated computers and hotels and books to New York schools. In 98, he received the Golden Plate Award. Wow. In 2008, he was honored with a star in the Hollywood Hall of Fame. He received an honorary doctorate from Harvard in 2014. In 2016, he donated $1 million to Howard University to establish the Sean Combs Scholarship Fund to help students who are unable to pay their tuition. So will that happen again? In 2022, he announced during his BET Lifetime Achievement Award acceptance speech that he will be donating $1 million each to Howard University and Jackson State University. Wow. So if he's accused of all of this and it's proven, will BET take away his Lifetime Achievement Award? And it's, again, has me think, how is this guy getting all these accolades when supposedly he's doing things that people may know about? How is he getting away with this? Why do we treat people who have so much power and ignore that they use this power for bad? Have we technically, like I said, put people in places where they're untouchable? And maybe he thought, suppose he was untouchable, and somebody said, you know what? It's your time now. But as I say again, come on home.
Way when to go now.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Brother Cornel West, and it has been my blessing and joy to be in such high quality conversation with Brother Anthony Parker of Keeping It Honest. Make sure you never miss his show.
Soundtrack comes out.
Can't stop, won't stop. Wow. Absolute power. Do you hear about that? How many times do people have so much power that they don't know what to do with it? Man, power corrupts absolute power. Makes you think at one point, so many people who are doing some of the craziest things, that they start out innocent, and the more power that consumed them, the more they wanted to consume power. We're talking about the allegations, sexual allegations and lawsuits. And here's a timeline of this sexual assault accusation from when Cassie did it till today. November 16, 2023, Cassie, Diddy's ex, accuses him of rape, sex trafficking, and domestic violence in a lawsuit. On November 16, Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York against Diddy, whom she dated on again, off again from 2007 to 2018. In her complaint, she accused Diddy of raping and abusing her over the course of their decades-long relationship. Once she decided to fully end the relationship in September 2018 over dinner, she alleged that Diddy forced his way into her home and raped her. So what made her finally say, hey, I'm brave enough to get away? In a statement to People, magazine, Combs' lawyer denied the allegations, which he called offensive and outrageous. Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. Ms. Ventura's demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about the relationship was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. So did she want to make a book? Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Ms. Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. So in response, Ventura's attorney said, Mr. Combs offered Ms. Ventura 8 figures to silence her and prevent the filing of this lawsuit. She rejected his efforts and decided to give a voice to all women who suffer in silence. Ms. Ventura should be applauded for her bravery. But since she did get the money, can she still talk? November 17, 2023, Diddy and Cassie settled the lawsuit. Wow. So from November 16th to November 17th, bam, settled the lawsuit. A day after Ventura filed the lawsuit, Diddy and the singer announced they resolved the claims in the lawsuit to their mutual satisfaction. How do you get satisfaction when you're claiming one day this guy rapes you and the next day he gives you money and you're good? How do you be good? The parties added that there would be no more further details publicly released about the terms of the agreement. You're complaining, you're trying to bring me down, here's some money. Shut up. You're rich now. Is that how it went? I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control, she said in a statement. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. So what's the support? Tell your story, but if you get paid, don't tell your story. Combs added, we have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Wow. So Combs, a lawyer, he clarified his client's stance on the issue, telling people in a statement, just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Ms. Ventura the best. Wow, so it's not admitting it. I gave you the money. So what is it admitting? You're doing it because she's hassling you, or you're doing it because you don't want the truth to come out? Okay, you paid her, so you're free. A week later, November 23rd, 2023, Diddy is accused of sexual assault by another woman. So days after settling his lawsuit with Cassie, Diddy was accused of sexual assault in a lawsuit filed in the Manhattan Supreme Court a couple days later. According to the court documents obtained by People, a woman named Joy Dickerson Neal, she accused Diddy of drugging and raping her when she was a college student at Syracuse University in 1991. So a long time ago. Attorneys for Dickerson claimed she was a victim of revenge porn after the music mogul allegedly recorded the incident and shared the tape with others in the music industry. So at the time of the filing, which occurred as the New York State Adult Survivors Act window was about to close, Diddy denied the allegations, claiming Dickerson fabricated the story. And there was this New York State Adult Survivors Act, which the deadline, if I'm correct, was in November, and it could go back 30 years. So if you were sexually harassed or raped or anything feeling where it makes you a lesser person, then you can file it. So something happened in the 90s. You can file it now and go to trial. So a lot of people were doing that, and that's what's been happening. So he shared the tape with others in the music industry. So you wonder how many people knew about this. So the Survivors Act was about to close. And so Diddy's attorney said this last-minute lawsuit is an example of how a well-intentional law can be turned on its head. Ms. Dickerson's 32-year-old story is made up and not credible. Mr. Combs never assaulted her, and she implicates companies that do not exist. Gotta see about that. Wow. November 23rd, 2023. Diddy faces a third sexual assault lawsuit. Wow. Man. So it's like every day he's got a lawsuit. That same day, and this is the same day, he was accused of sexual assault by a third woman, according to a lawsuit filed in New York County Supreme Court. In the lawsuit obtained by People, Jane Doe allegedly said that Diddy and a singer-songwriter, Aaron Hall, took turns raping her and a friend in New York more than 30 years ago. Aaron Hall, for some of you don't know, he was in a group called Guy. And if this is true, then they're coming after him too. She put this in the filing. Wow. So Diddy, lawyer said, these are fabricated claims, falsely alleging misconduct from over 30 years ago and filed at the last minute. This is nothing but a money grab. Because of Mr. Combs' fame and success, he is an easy target. And maybe he is, some people say, for anonymous accusers who lie without conscience or consequences for financial benefit. A spokesman for Combs wrote in a statement to People. The spokesperson also added, the New York legislature surely did not intend or expect the Adult Survivors Act to be exploited by scammers. The public should be skeptical and not run to accept these bogus allegations. People attempted to contact Hall for comment, but he could not be reached. And he has to be known in the African American community. Has anybody tried to do a story on this? If people know that this is true, why hasn't anybody done anything? November 28th, 2023, Diddy temporarily steps aside as Revolt chairman. So this is a hip-hop TV network, Revolt, which Diddy co-founded. And he said in a statement that he was going to step back. And the network said, Sean Combs will step down from his position as chairman of Revolt. While he's previously had no operational or day-to-day role in the business, this decision helps to ensure that Revolt remains steadfastly focused on our mission to create meaningful content for the culture and simplify the voices of all Black people throughout the country and the African diaspora. I've never heard of this company. So it's been around and you're only as important as you think you know. December 6th, 2023. Diddy is accused of sex trafficking and gang rape by a fourth woman. Wow. In early December, Diddy was accused of sexual assault by a fourth victim. In a lawsuit filed in New York, a woman under the name Jane Doe, she accused Diddy, former Bad Boy Entertainment president Harvey Pierre, and a third individual labeled as a third assistant of sex trafficking and gang rape when she was 17 years old. In a file entertained by People, Jane Doe claimed that Pierre approached her at a lounge in Michigan and convinced her to take a private jet with him and the third assailant to Combs' recording studio in New York. Once she arrived, she alleges she was given drugs and alcohol before being viciously gang raped, the lawsuit claimed. Pierre has not responded to People's request. On December 6th, he's probably tired of this now. December 6th, he speaks out about sexual assault allegations. People denied, or Diddy denied the recent allegations against him in a statement to People, so it must be the going publication. Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy, he says. Be quiet. He added, sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. So this is where it gets really hot. February 26, 2024. Diddy is accused of sexual assault by a record producer. On February 26, Rodney Lil Rod James, a former producer and videographer for Diddy, filed a lawsuit in New York federal court alleging that the rapper previously sexually harassed, drugged, and threatened him while he was working with Combs on his recent Love album from September 2022 to November 2023. Jones is seeking $30 million in damages. March 25th, this took place. Diddy's home was raided by federal agents, and the properties were raided by federal agents on March 25th. And that's where we're at now. And the filings, especially from Lil Rod, I think it's about 70 pages. And if you look at it, it's really thick. It is really thick. And it's got pictures in there too. It's very graphic. It tells a tale of Cuba Gooding and what he did. It mentions Usher, Justin Bieber, and some other celebrities. Some people are trying to say, why aren't anybody saying anything about this? When is it going to hit the fan? I don't know. I just know that it's a very interesting set of situations that they're in. And I don't know if they know how they're going to get out of it. So it's just kind of crazy. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that this is something that will taint your feelings as far as Puff Daddy, Diddy? Will this make you go another way? Will you throw away your music? Will you say, okay, I am so through that I'm not going to think about him anymore? We've had our heroes tainted over the years. Dr. King. Haven't heard anything about Malcolm X. And if not heroes, I'm trying to work this right, people that we believe in. Bill Clinton. Barack Obama, I guess. R. Kelly. Man, everybody from the 90s now, not everybody, but a lot of the people from the 90s who we grew up some of their music, what kind of world were they living in then? They really were living in a fast world. Is Sean Combs that big a person that, as you saw a couple clips where that anger, it took him out of control and he thought he was a power man? So, like I said, do you ever wonder, hey, you know what? Eventually these people are going to get caught because they get away with things. But my thing is, well, why is this person doing this thing and we're letting him get away with this anyway? That's the crazy thing about it. Why are we letting this person get away with it anyway? Wow. Nancy Grace is on the show, and she's talking blah, blah, blah about what's going on, because in her eyes, it seems like people are taking up for Sean Combs.
But when you get a federal indictment shoved up your rear end, it's kind of hard to get out of that with just talking. But this is what jurors may wonder, because this is what is being asked of me since the moment this hit the airwaves. Why would a guy worth over $1 billion bother to drug minors, some as young as 16 is the allegation, and video himself raping them, when he could have practically any woman he wanted that were after fame and fortune? Now, see, to me, I don't care, but a juror may wonder that. What about it, Delatorre?
Well, because he can. I mean, ultimately, this is about the thrill that he was getting by exploiting and embarrassing all of these individuals. A lot of people talk about power and control, that these guys, you know, who like to do these kinds of abuses like to have the power and control. But it's more than that when it comes to Diddy. I mean, we see things about violence and drugs and guns. As was described earlier, he's an equal opportunity abuser. This is a guy who thinks money, power, respect is the be all end all, that his word is the word that goes, and whatever it is that suits his fancy, that's what he's going to do. He's doing it because he has the money to do it, and he gets the thrill out of it. And that's more important to him, is getting the thrill rather than just having someone just come up to him and offer themselves. There's no fun in that for him. He wants to bring down and embarrass. He wants to abuse. He wants to inflict pain on individuals.
Okay, let me understand something, Dr. Delatorre, because obviously you have encountered this. I've encountered it while prosecuting, but so the thrill is drugging someone and raping them while they're totally knocked out, like Cosby. That's the
Yeah.
thrill.
That's the thrill. That's absolutely the thrill,
Okay.
especially if they're the ones that say no. The more they say no, the more they struggle against it, the harder that the abuser is going to go, the more thrill they get out of it.
You know, I don't even like hearing you say that, but
That's true.
I
though.
get it. And that's what's going to have to be explained to a jury if this ever goes to a jury. Guys, in addition to investigative reporter Kayla Brantley, Shannon Henry from SAS, Dr. Delatorre, and high-profile lawyer, former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. Oh, that reminds me of something, Nima.
So before she goes to that, let's talk about this allegations some more. February 2012. In the November 2023 suit, Ventura alleges that Combs said he was going to blow up the car of rapper Kid Cudi, whom Ventura was dating at the time. Wow. And that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cudi was home with his friends when it happened. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car did explode in his driveway. Kid Cudi, in a statement to the New York Times, collaborated that. Wow. 2013, Combs launches his cable news network, Revolt TV. I had never heard of it though. And he announces a new joint venture in January 8, 2014, where he becomes known for De Leon Tequila. Wow. 2015, Combs celebrates the 20th anniversary of Bad Boy Records. Okay. Forbes reports 2022 that he's a certified billionaire. Wow. Combs receives a Lifetime Achievement Award in June 2022. Where society is giving him all the props, but if he's hanging around certain people, don't certain people know that, wow, he's getting all of this, everybody's scared to, stand up to him and everything, which is crazy. So now let's talk about some of the boxes that the feds were looking at.
I was about to go to Barry Golden. Hold on, Barry, former U.S. Marshal, and I'm telling you, they don't play. Nima, I was a Fed for 3 years, and I nearly jumped out of my skin because we would have, for instance, in a case I was working, we would have a whole room full of boxes of documents. And I'd be saying, well, when are we actually going to do something? When are we going to do the raid? When are we going to make the arrest? Because they're doing it right now. Why are we waiting? So I'm telling you, Nima, that the feds had some serious PC, probable cause, before they blast up in Combs's mansions.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And this is an investigation that's being run out of the Southern District of New York, probably the most prestigious prosecutor's office in the country. Yeah. They hire the brightest and the best. So just because the raids were executed in Los Angeles and Miami doesn't mean the investigation started here. It started in New York. So they know what they're doing. And Nancy, the feds wait until they have a made hand, a bulletproof, ironclad case before they go in. They have the luxury of waiting, of interviewing those witnesses, putting them before the grand jury. Because once you execute a search warrant like this, evidence starts to disappear, people may disappear. So this is the final step before people start getting arrested.
It's the culmination of months and months and months of working, if not longer. Combs may have been on their radar for a while, but these lawsuits basically shamed the feds into doing something. They couldn't hold back anymore. And see, they've got what I don't have. And I pray for it, Nima, because it's bit me in the rear end many a time. I don't have patience because, see, I'm thinking, hey, while I'm waiting to do something. He may be molesting another girl. He may be drugging another girl. And see, I'm thinking that, but they think the long game. The feds think the long game, which is it's a fault of mine not to play the long game. But they're right. If you want to win, you play the long game and you get every T crossed, every I dotted, then you move. Bottom line, when they move on you, it's too late for you. You're dead. It's over because they got the goods on you. They're just not going to make a move like this unless they've got a lot of evidence.
So if they're looking at the long game, that means they've been studying him for years and just waiting till the right opportunity. But as they've been studying him, how many people have been hurt? Have you been doing this, man, since the glory years of the 90s or early 90s or 2000s? Maybe they've been letting him build up everything so then they can go after him, and maybe he's not the big fish and there's bigger fish. Kind of like the Trump case, kind of like the R. Kelly case, kind of like the Jeff Epstein case. But you think, while they're sitting back and letting stuff build, kind of like what Nancy Grace said, how many people are being hurt from this? Wow. Again, the timeline. December 10th, 2023, last year, in response to the accusations, 18 brands severed ties. They severed ties, like, we're not doing this anymore, with Combs' Black-owned e-commerce venture, Empire Global. December 11, 2023, a public petition started by feminist and survivor advocacy group Ultraviolet circulates, calling the Recording Academy to rescind Combs' 2024 Grammy nomination for a progressive R&B album amid the sexual abuse allegations. Wow. December 11, 2023. The Recording Academy releases a statement in response to Diddy's Grammy nomination and the allegations. We are taking this matter very seriously, and we are in the process of evaluating it with the time and care that it deserves. Wow. January 12, 2024. Combs did not attend the Grammys. January 16, 2024. Diego and Combs resolved a legal lawsuit around marketing of products and officially end their working relationship. February 26, 2024, Little Rod. That's the fifth lawsuit. And again, March 25th, that's when the houses are raided. Wow, we got all these papers. If you look at the filing of the lawsuit, it's very graphic. I couldn't even read it all because there was too much in it. But if he's done what is alleged, and some of these other people in there have done what they're alleged to be doing, then they all should be held accountable. It makes you think, what kind of case is this?
Guys, joining me right now, a guy I know you want to hear from, former U.S. Marshal and owner now of Golden Consulting at golden-ci.com. Barry Golden, a significant portion of this case is criminal enterprise. Anybody jump in? We're not having high tea at Windsor Castle, please. Criminal enterprise, which means a plan. More than one person is involved. Even though this raid may have been sparked by multiple lawsuits against Combs, the feds have got to prove that there was a criminal enterprise and they're using claims of sex acts on other women, men in different states, traveling or moving the victims in order for them to have sex with Combs or other people. Explain why the aspect of asportation, in other words, movement, is important in this case.
Dear friend, in 2017, the U.S. military
And you're watching Keeping Our Eyes with yours truly, Anthony Parker, as we go through some of the commercials. And now we're back. Nancy Grace. Sean Combs. Come on.
Well, the conviction rate in the Southern District of Florida, I prosecuted cases through the U.S. Attorney's Office for several years, and the conviction rate in the Southern District of Florida was 98%. So yes, you are right.
Ouch.
When they bring the federal government, the U.S. Attorney's Office brings an indictment, if they do, they have a lot of ammunition on you. As Nima just mentioned, that a federal judge already found probable cause that there is evidence to conduct these searches at the homes here in Miami and in New York. But yes, you're going to have numerous witnesses. I think that this case is going to still take a long time because you have so much evidence. You have to bring in all these people. Rodney Jones, he can only testify to what he witnessed and what happened to him. You have to bring in other witnesses that these alleged sex acts occurred with. And so,
Wow, so look at this mansion. It's just one of the mansions. So that means supposedly he had a lot of parties there and a lot of people. And if he had a lot of parties and there were a lot of people, and some of these may have been celebrities, politicians, they've got a lot as far as moralistically that they're keeping to themselves.
So you're going to have to find these witnesses, interview these witnesses, bring them in, lock them into a statement, and then put all that into an indictment. So I think you're still months away from seeing an indictment, but there's so much information that you're looking at here. You just look at the civil complaint by Rodney Jones, and it's very long. There's so much information there. There are so many allegations. There's a lot of information, but the HSI going in, the attorney was complaining about so many agents. Look at that compound right there. Look how big that mansion is. You need a lot of manpower. And with the allegations of firearms being at that location.
So look at that house right now, or as they call it, not just a mansion, but a compound. That is really a big place. You got the houses right there. You got some there. I wonder if there's any more right there. So when the feds came, they're not going to let you know they're coming, because how can they do their job? And my thing is that they find some stuff. We haven't heard about that yet, but have they found stuff and they're just keeping it not honest or simple or real, but they're keeping it quiet, close to their vest, maybe trying to get some people to talk so they won't go to jail? Are they trying to get just Puffy, or are they trying to get other people involved?
You never know how someone's going to react when, as a federal agent, you come in there and you take control of their residence. You don't know how they're going to react. So you have to have a lot of manpower and a lot of bodies to secure that location so a search can be conducted. So they had to go.
Put him up, please.
So that's the area view. And I mean, we see stuff, but is it as big as what they say? I guess you'd have to be there.
Hey, Barry Golden, I got one
Yes.
word for you.
Yes.
Waco. Waco.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
The feds move
Absolutely,
in.
I do. Yes.
Koresh gets all of his followers who were all, many of them molesting little girls in their
Yes.
religion. They
Yes.
fire on the feds and everything goes wild. And I still
Yes.
remember seeing the video of the flames and the standoff and the shootout when feds moved in. And I got to tell you something. I've been on many searches and arrests pursuant to warrant, of course, and people don't take to it very kindly. If they can reach a gun, you're in trouble. End of story. Here's another thing we see going on too. Kayla Brantley joining us, investigative reporter, Daily Mail. We know that Combs's alleged drug mule was arrested at the Miami airport. At the same time, Combs's rapper sons were put in cuffs during the raids on the mansions.
So that's interesting, the drug mule. And I think they'll tell a little bit more about that. the feds had everything orchestrated right. They had the feds at the houses, and they had the Fed following a drug mule. So, I mean, they say indictment, you can indict a ham sandwich, so I don't know what that means. But as far as this case, they're saying this could go on for a long time. If you got so many people at these parties involved, some celebrities, some politicians, all sick people, and messing around with people they shouldn't be messing around, that's really crazy. So this case will be going on for a while.
Who is the alleged drug mule? It's very significant because the feds are going to be looking for witnesses, and this alleged mule could do life in Max, or he could rat out Combs. What do you think he's going to do? Tell me about the drug mule, the alleged drug mule. Brandon Paul, age 25.
Yeah, so 25-year-old Brendan Paul, he was arrested Monday as these raids went on. He was arrested at a Miami airport, and he was about to board Combs's plane to what was believed to be going to the Caribbean. Now, when the authorities checked his bags, they found cocaine and laced candy. And so they arrested him for that. They said that it's not an arrest directly involved in the raids. However, Homeland Security did send officers there to check out Combs.
So right there, you get to see a good picture of the compound. So it's big right there. Then this little one right there got a nice pool. And I don't know if any of this is that or not.
His plane. Now, this was a guy from Ohio. He played college basketball. We're not exactly sure how he became involved with Diddy, but according to the lawsuit filed last month from producer Little Rod, he was Diddy's alleged drug mule.
Everything orchestrated. They have had to get something out of this. I wonder what the other place looked like. What do you believe? Sean Combs? Is he involved with the sex trafficking? And for some people who don't know what that is, let's find out.
Okay, so now we're looking at sex trafficking. And to you, Shannon Henry, to make out, joining us from SAS, which is Surviving Assault, Standing Strong, to make out sex trafficking is not as hard as people think. Explain what it means to sex traffic someone.
Well, you know, the way that people are trafficked, they look for a vulnerable population, whether they're young, they're in a hard season of their life, they're looking for fame, they're looking to make it big. Whatever it is, they're going to use coercion, they're going to force them with threats and stalking and violence to repay a debt, whatever it may be. And we certainly see that here in Cassie's story as well as the others. So you've got this isolation that's happening, this coercion, this power. And then the most powerful weapon of all is shame, because on top of all of this, you've got video of everything, and they can shame them into complicity and being quiet. And silence is ultimately the biggest evil. And I agree, bringing these people forward, giving witnesses the ability to testify will ultimately be what really brings down the entire playbook. And let's not forget that Fahim Muhammad is also who is helping, you know, behind the scenes with all of this as Diddy's director of security. And he worked previously for Michael Jackson.
Wow, that's quite the coincidence, huh? Nima Rahmani is joining us. Nima, now high-profile lawyer and the president of West Coast Trial Lawyers, but important for me, former federal prosecutor. What about this? Nobody likes to rat out a friend, right? Snitches get stitches and all that. But there's one guy, 50, from G Unit rapper, 50 Cents.
So while they're talking about 50, and from what I gather, 50 isn't a fan of Sean Combs. Some people are talking about him now. Some people are kind of taken up form, they're kind of uncomfortable. So the ones that have known him for years, you know, like Usher and other celebrities, they're kind of not saying anything, which is interesting.
Who has been mocking Diddy for a long time. In fact, when this all went down, he states, it's not did Diddy do it, it's Diddy done it, because they don't come after you until they got a case. That's him. And he's going on and on and on. Why do I care? Because he may have inside information, not just him, but Usher, even Bieber, Justin Bieber. And I'm not saying any of them are responsible for any wrongdoing. I'm saying that they obviously have been around during some, let me just say, Combs's antics.
And here's where it gets interesting too. Here we go. Sean Combs right there. So we know some of the people that he's been around over the years, and it could have been from the 90s to today. Again, people who have been questionable. So right there, how many people can you tell me? How many people think, well, J-Lo's been quiet. Did he do any of this while he was with J-Lo? Penny from the Block, was she quiet back then because she wanted to stay on the block and get famous? Wow. Another person. Are you guilty by association? So here's a guy that has power, but does he have as much power as Diddy? Dr. Dre. There we go, living the high life. Sorry. Not Dr. Dre. They live in the high life. Power. Absolute power. Man. My mind just went blank on who that is. Hopefully I get it by the time it's over. And this allegations by Lil Rod, you're here about association with Usher. He was with Usher when he was very young. Cuba Gooding Jr., he's been hanging with Diddy, and the allegations is pretty disgusting. Cassie right here, I think after she filed that and he gave her money, it just blew up. Wow, man. So I'm gonna tell you some of the people that he's been known to be around, okay, over the years. Lil' Kim, Rick Ross, they've been collaborators for years. In 2023, their friendship made some headlines as Diddy sent a fellow rapper a golf cart as a housewarming gift after Ross's move to Miami. DJ Khaled. Back in 2017, Instagram users will remember the 2017 jet ski debacle featuring Khaled riding over to Diddy's, and he got stuck. I'm okay. I made it to Diddy's house, he said, after multiple videos recounting the near emergency. In 2022, Diddy honored his lovable friend at Khaled's 47th birthday party. I appreciate you loving me as a friend. You was king down here in Miami, and look at you now. God did, Diddy said. Their friendship has continued, and Diddy even gifted Khaled with a golf cart in April 2023. Justin Bieber. Fans resurfaced a video in March 2024 that showed a 15-year-old Bieber hanging out with Diddy for 2 days, 48 hours. Where we were hanging out and what we were doing, we really can't disclose, he said, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. Wow, so let me see, what was I as a 15-year-old? What was my dream? To go to a Diddy party? Wow. Mariah Carey. Puffy will be shining my shoes in 2 years. Wow. She was referring to Diddy's former moniker, Puff Daddy. It was one of the very few times I stood up to Tommy, telling him that what he had said was blatantly racist. I was pissed, excuse me. Usher. So it's interesting. I don't know how many people knew this, but Usher lived with Diddy. Okay, here we go. Usher lived with Diddy. Wow. He says, I got a chance to see things. I don't know if I can indulge and even understand what I was looking at. He said the place was filled with chicks and partying nonstop. Wow. Will Smith, we know him. He rolled around with the Diddy years. Wow. So they ruled the rap scene. Go back in the 90s, okay? And when Smith hit Chris Rock, Diddy kind of came to the defense. If you remember, after Smith went up there and hit Chris Rock, I think not Chris. I think not Will. I think that Diddy was the first or second person to come up after Chris and that smack. I remember it though, because Diddy says this. I just want to say, let's make some noise for Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes, the rapper said during the awards ceremony, referring to the show's host. I didn't think they were that good. But he says, gotta give it up for Wanda. I did not know that this year was going to be the most exciting Oscars ever. Had nothing to do with Wanda. But he added, which I did like, okay, Will and Chris, we're going to solve that like family at the gold party, okay? But right now, we are moving on with love. Everybody make some noise. And then Ashton Kutcher. It started over Punk, because he's like, yo, you can't punk me. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. So that started our conversation. Okay. And they became fast friends. But you look at some of these people who are friends of when this blows up, it's going to blow up. I'm just telling you. We have to be prepared, or maybe we're just used to this now. Because what are the chances that you think that this isn't going to blow up? I think we're going to see, because I'll be surprised if it doesn't get worse. I will be so surprised. So those are some of the people who are involved with this. And you ever get a chance to read that? It's like a book. Lil Rod, what he talks about. I'm telling you, it is crazy. Big time.
Because when Bieber was asked when he was a teen boy, hey, what happened when you were hanging out with Combs? He said, well, I can't say, but it's every 15-year-old boy's dream. Okay. Usher has publicly stated that he saw some, quote, very curious things when hanging out with Combs. And you've got Fitty making jokes at Diddy's expense. Explain. They could turn up to be witnesses.
Oh, no question. And, 50 Cent and Diddy's feud is pretty well documented.
And it is documented too. But Usher and Living with P. Diddy both introduced me to a totally different set of blank, sex specifically. There was always girls around. You'd open the door and see somebody doing it, or several people in a room having an orgy. And this is what he said, Rolling Stone 2004. So who knows how long all of this has been happening.
Documented. 50's actually working on a documentary about all this. But Nancy, this may well be a Jeff Epstein type situation. We know Cuba Gooding Jr., he's already been named in a civil lawsuit. Prince Harry's name has been mentioned. And Diddy rubs shoulders with rich and powerful people here in Los Angeles and all over the world. So the question is going to be, who was there? What did they see? What did they do? And I wouldn't be surprised if more and more names start being leaked that are people that, are very well known, that either are witnesses or even worse, participated in some of these sex acts.
Whoop is my favorite tool for assessing.
So wow. And you've heard Nancy Grace collaborate some of the things that I've talked about.
This is on a small scale. You go to an event, you go to a party, you see one teen drinking, leave. You see one teen with a joint, leave. Because if you stay, then you're part of it. You become part of it, whether you do anything wrong or not. You're there. You are part of it. It's called being a co-defendant. Speaking of Usher, take a listen to what Usher had to say.
And you heard me say it through the paper, and she said it through the paper. Now let's hear Usher.
We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really.
Come on.
But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody.
So there you go in Usher's words. He said he saw a lot of things going on, too much for a kid. Some people even said they were trying to groom him. We don't know how much of this is true. Only time will tell, but we have a lot of people that are collaborating some of these stories.
Okay, he went on to say that you'd open a door and there would be people in that room, multiple women and men having orgies, a totally different set of sex, specifically always girls around. This was when he was 13. Now, you're hearing Usher speaking to Howard Stern and being very, very candid. Stern has the ability to get people to drop their guard and speak as they would as if they were speaking to a longtime friend in the privacy of their home, as you saw right there. And I'm just wondering if, as this case goes forward to Barry Golden, former U.S. Marshal, if we're going to see more people that are high profile being forced, pursuant to subpoena, to speak out.
Wow. And that's going to be the thing. Are you going to see some of these entertainers, some of these politicians speak out and maybe admit that they were a part of this? Could be somebody else, kind of like the Jeffrey Epstein list. People waiting for that list to come out. And it came out and it wasn't as explosive as everybody thought. But with this one, you've got people going to court trying to sue, trying to get money. And they're making this very graphic. So I'm curious if Epstein and Diddy ever got together and did a big party or went back and forth, or did some of the people who went to the Epstein party also go to the Usher party? What will happen if some of these people do speak out?
Well, yes, when you read in some of these civil lawsuits, you see that there are allegations that there are other people, other witnesses that were there at the time when these alleged criminal acts occurred. So now the U.S. Attorney's Office is going to have to find those people, interview those people, and then get these people to be willing to testify against Sean P. Diddy Combs, this person who is a mega superstar with millions and millions or billions of dollars. And now they have to be able to stand up and face him in court and say, he did this, this, and this. The U.S. Attorney's Office is going to have to find these people and bring these people in and be willing to testify against a mega superstar.
And people very often, I hate to say, don't come forward out of the goodness of their heart. They have to be forced. In other words, you have to threaten them with unnamed co-conspirator status. It's going to be tough. Exactly who is the government and these alleged victims up against? Take a listen to our Cut One, Rachel Bonilla, Crime Online.
Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and Brother Love, is credited with the development of several big-name hip-hop artists, including Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, and Usher. Diddy's own music career is just as impressive, with 11 #1 singles, 14 nominations, and 3 Grammy Awards. In addition to Combs' label, Bad Boy Records, the rap mogul co-founds the network Revolt TV and hosts several businesses under the umbrella company Combs Global. At Forbes' last estimate, Combs had a net worth of roughly $1 billion.
You're seeing Rolling Stone and Billboard. Combs has been on the cover of practically every major music-related magazine. He's a superstar. Will these alleged victims stand up against Combs? $1 billion at the last estimate. We wait as justice unfolds.
Wow. Man, what do you think? $1 billion. $1 billion. That is what he is worth. So much power, so much money. Man, makes you think when you start out innocent. You let it get to you, and you are in your own head, king of the world. We've seen people with money. We've seen people with power. And we've seen the fall. Is he guilty of anything? Is he guilty of just being a rude, arrogant, charismatic, powerful person? And at the end of the day, you want to do things that will make your kids proud. But from what we gather, his kids are involved with this. And when I was reading the report on this, like I said, it's about 70-some pages, very graphic. Some of the celebrities, it makes me turn away from people I've liked, people I've enjoyed, the music, when they're doing things spiritual and they're doing these things on the side. Was it something recent or was it something decades ago? What this is going to open up too, because there are allegations that he might have put a hit on Tupac. The one guy that's in jail now says that Combs had was supposed to pay him $1 million to do a hit on Tupac. He says he killed him, but he never got the money. What about Biggie? Some people said he had something to do with Biggie. Back in the 90s, you had Suge Knight, you had Snoop, you had all these high-profile rappers, East Coast, West Coast. And Diddy was one great marketeer, knew how to be on every album, every video, standing back, letting people know this is my company, this is me. Was it something that he grew into? Because he had all these names, P. Diddy, Diddy, Puff Daddy, Love. What happened to Sean Combs? He made these songs, I'm Coming Home, which was a great song. I'll Be Watching You, which was a great song. And some cool, fast songs back in the 90s. You have a lot of celebrities now who he has known and has helped produce. Did they ever come to those parties? And if they did, was it a non-disclosure thing that they had to fill out? How many of these celebrities over the past 20-something years can come and say, well, this is what I think he did? Or, I'm not going to say because I did it too. We just heard from Usher. We hear 50 or 50. When you do something so bad, but yet people know that you've done good things, does that erase the good things you've done? Moralistically, I think it does. Can you still watch Bill Cosby? Can you still watch Bill Clinton? Can you listen to R. Kelly? Can you watch Cuba Gooding Jr.? Blah. When you find out they've done some of these gross things and disgusting things to people. When you're sex trafficking, when you're doing underage, when you're doing same sex, having people watch. And there's a lot of stories that I didn't do here that Puff Daddy is really accused of. So I tell people, you're both sides of the story, you're all sides. I try to give some good stuff, played the music a little bit, brought you back to what Puffy was. But who is he now? You have any questions or comments? You can email yours truly as parkerman2011@gmail.com, parkerman2011 @gmail.com. You can text me 216-702-3718, 216-702-3718. Tell your friends. Like us. Subscribe to us. If you have any show ideas that you'd like to see, let me know. Again, we try to give you the left side, we try to give you the right side, and at the end of the day, we hope you decide. It may be stuff you may not want to hear or believe in, but hopefully it's the truth. So, you've been watching Sean Combs, Come On Home. Okay? And in closing, is he a religious man? Can he be a religious man? Well, do you think he's a Christian? Do you think he's a Baptist? What do you think he is? What do you think he is? I am trying to find this right now. But remember, don't have a hero. Be a hero. So his religious views. He was raised Catholic and was an altar server as a boy. In 2008, he told the Daily Telegraph that he does not adhere to any specific religious denomination. He said, I just follow right from wrong so I could pray in a synagogue or a mosque or a church. I believe that there is only one God. And as we deal with the situation, excuse me, and especially Sean Combs, friends, let's pray for them that there is the right God. I'm Anthony Parker Alexander. Keep your head up, never look down, always believe in yourself, and therein will lie your answer. Keep it simple, keep it real, and especially keep it honest. God bless.